Hi guys, I just wanted to run everyone real quick through what the Solar Decathlon build competition is and perhaps some ways that you guys can join and get more involved. The Solar Decathlon Build Challenge challenges the team to design and build a highly efficient and innovative building powered by renewable energy. The competition is judged based on 10 contests such as resiliency, architecture, engineering, controls, and energy efficiency and other things. And those competitions are judged equally to decide a winner. You can see below some examples of past competitions such as the University of Alabama in Birmingham House and the Missouri S&T House, and both of these houses were built in 2017. The build competition occurs in two phases. The first phase is the design phase, and the second phase is the build phase. So the design phase will consist of 6 different sub-teams, and the responsibilities of each sub-team is highlighted under their name. And keep in mind, some team leads, there's going to be a team lead for every sub-team, and some of these sub-teams will need a team lead, including mechanical, economics and marketing, and energy analysis. So if you're interested in that, please specify that in the Google form at the end of this presentation. So the second phase of the Solar Decathlon Build Challenge is the build phase, and although it seems like there may be less work because there's less teams, that is not the case. This phase will be a lot more involved. I expect the team to be in this phase to be over 50 people, and this is making sure our documentation is foolproof, completely correct, so that a contractor can understand exactly what's going on and assisting with the construction process as much as possible. So as you can see here, this is our 2021 timeline, so I'll briefly run through this with you guys. So first we have the design goal selection, and that started already in May 1st, so we better get rolling on that. But so before you can begin a design, you have to get your design constraints. What are you designing around? For example, is it a rental property? Is it a property that's going to be owned? Is it a property in the cold climate? Is it in a warm climate? You have to make all these decisions before you can begin your design process. From there, you'll go to the initial architecture design. So this is where the architecture team will get together, and based on the parameters that we decided in the design goal selection, they will then create an initial architecture design that meets all those goals and hopefully exceeds them. From there, we have a good initial design done, so we will develop our pitch to the university at that point, and that is where we will ideally get university support. We need to get a plot of land on the university, and we need to have their support for when we end up building this in 2022. So next is donors/funding. That's exactly what it sounds like. We need to find more donors and more funding. We already have donors for our solar panels and our HVAC, but there's still a long way to go. So we will get there. We already have a few donors in the works. And we will just continue that process as we move forward this year. So next is the architecture design and engineering planning. So the initial architecture design was done. That's going to be like a preemptive thing that we have just so we can pitch to the university. And then from there, we will refine that architecture design. We'll start hitting the interior. Maybe we'll start hitting some of the building sections and getting some axons and better graphics done just so we can really flesh out that design and show it off. And then engineering planning. So based on the architectural design, engineering will stay updated as it progresses. And then from there, they can kind of plan out what systems they want to use. Like based on the size, they can determine the HVAC. They can determine how many solar panels we have. How will that affect other things? Are we going to do car charging? Stuff like that. And then from there, you get to the engineering section. So that's where engineering is going to take the project and run with it and make changes. Or suggest changes to architecture based on that. For example, if you're running ductwork for the HVAC, maybe there might be a slight architectural change that needs to take place to run that ductwork effectively. Plumbing is another good example. Efficiently running plumbing correctly. Another good example is placing a car charger. Maybe we want to have good placement for it. Just all that kind of stuff. And then, as you can see, architecture refinement is next. That is the thing that is going to take those engineering suggestions and incorporate them, maybe make some engineering changes based on those architecture changes, and it's just going to be a back and forth process until we get a final design. And then from there, we'll get design approvals done. So what that means is we will reach out to our industry partners to approve our designs and make changes based on their suggestions. I wanted to briefly touch on some class opportunities that you guys have. So the ARC 4990 is an elective that you guys can take, and what that means is it will count as either if you're engineering, which this does count for engineering as well, but it will count as an elective hour, which I know architecture students are responsible for getting a certain amount of credits for electives, and this would count as that. So for mechanical engineering, this also will be available. It's still being worked out later this week, but it will be available for mechanicals as well, and it will count as a technical elective for the design and build challenge. So just keep that in mind, and yeah, this will be extremely helpful for when we do the build challenge because it'll count as a class and you will get credit for your classes. Okay, so we finally come to the end. So if you have any questions, email msstateenergy@gmail.com, and keep in mind the interest meetings are going to be Friday this week at 6 p.m. on May 7th and Saturday at 2 p.m. the day later. And we will have more interest meetings. Once you guys fill out the form, if you somehow miss an interest meeting or you can't make one, let me know at msstateenergy@gmail.com, and I'll try and get to your emails as quick as I can. So, and yeah, be sure to click here to navigate to the Google form. If you click that link, fill out that form, you should have everything you need to get started. So thank you for watching, and I hope to see you guys at an interest meeting.